Okay, welcome back. This will be chapter 3. What I didn't mention before, and I'm going to mention all the way through this video, is there's two things that are your friend if you're online, and you need to be online, DSL. YouTube and Amazon.com, because you're going to go on YouTube. I'm going to tell you all these names. You got to YouTube them and check these people out, and then go to Amazon.com and buy the stuff. Stuff is really cheap. It's used. It comes to you. It's like in brand new condition. I've never had a problem with anything on Amazon.com. I've never been stumped. Everything that I've wanted has been there if I wanted it. Okay, we're going to talk about the keyboards here. So we have an overhead shot that's going to come down, and you're going to be taking a look at the keyboards here. If you've never played keyboards, I'm going to explain what these white keys are. If you've never heard of the C major scale, every white key on this keyboard is a key C major scale. Every one of them. Wherever you start and you play 7 notes, in either direction, it's a C major scale. And I'm going to show you where C middle C is, if I can spit it out, which splits keyboards in half. That's middle C. Okay, so what we're going to do, and you can do it on your keyboard with masking tape or something, because you're going to need the note names, and then every note name in a scale has a number. So remember, there's 7 notes in C major scale, and then you repeat a C. So it's going to be from here, that's a C, the next one up, D, the next one up, E, next one up, F, next one up, G, next one up, A, next one up, B, and then C again. So that little segment of 8 notes, 8 white notes, that's your C major scale. Everything in human history, along with these little black notes here, which I'll explain to you in a second. That's all the music you ever heard, because that whole segment then repeats again. It repeats. It starts down here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 octaves. Octaves means 8. There's 5 of those on this keyboard, 61 notes, I think. So all music is based on that. So you have the C major scale, which I could fall over and hit it with my elbow. Whoops, play the C major scale. I could play the thing with my nose. That's what's so easy about keyboards. You just play it. There's a C. If we do that on guitar, there's going to be a C here, a C here, C here, and on and on and on. They're just all over the place, you know. You can play. What I mean is there's the C here and C there. Not on the piano, there's one C, that's it. You don't need any technique to play it. Like I say, play it with my nose, play it with my elbow. This thing requires you put your hand here and then do this. That's technique. There's no technique to me doing this except I hit that note. So you got that. These other black notes, the C chromatic scale. Everything that you're going to learn is an alteration of the C major scale or the C chromatic scale. Everything is built on the C major scale. We're going to alter it. You'll see how I alter one note. You get a completely different scale. It's very interesting. So anyway, remember how we went up on the guitar? You do these segments. You started in E. Well, your E on the piano is to the right of the 2 black keys. Your C on the piano is to the left. So if you want to play the same thing on guitar that you're playing on keyboards, we start here on the E. You start at the left 2 black keys down here on the E. E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. Start here. It's this. That's it. Same thing. So you know all your notes. Then you go backwards, E, E flat, D, D flat, C, B, B flat, A flat, G, G flat, F, E, which is sometimes F flat, E flat, D, D flat, and C. So what we're going to do is you're going to have to learn the major scale on every one of those notes. Okay, but I'm going to teach you how to learn the major scale, and the fact that it not only has numbers to it and names, it also creates chords, and chords have numbers attached to them. So there's 2 sets of numbers you got to learn, but it's really not that hard. So here we go. If you can mark on your piano from your middle C right there and mark that as a C, you also put a 1 on it. D is a 2. And actually in Roman numerals, it's going to be a small 2, and I'll explain that later. Your E is going to be 3. Your F is going to be 4. Your G is going to be 5. 6 is going to be A. 7 is going to be B. And then you're back to your C again. So that's all you need to know for your major scale. And the major scales create notes, so create chords. So if your C down here is 1, that means that's your 1 chord. Okay, so how do you figure out the chords of C major scale? Well, here it is. This is ridiculously easy. You just skip a note, and the next note is the second note of your chord. So you have a C, skip the D, which is 2 steps up to a D, 2 half steps to a D, and then 2 half steps up. There's your second note, your E. And then you do the same thing. You go from your E, you skip a white note, and that's your G. So you have 1, 3, 5. Okay, so those are your numbers. You have numbers for the scale, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Your number for your chord is 1, and then your third, it's called your third, 1, 3, and 5. Okay? So you have a triad, that's a C major chord. The reason it's major is because the third is major. You took 1, 2, 3, 4 steps to get there. And you'll see that when you start with D, it's going to be 1, 2, 3 steps to get to the next one. That means it's a minor chord. Okay, so you have 1, 3, 5, and your fifth. You still have a fifth, but you have a minor instead of a major. So what you're going to do is you just skip every other note, play a D, skip every other note, do the same thing with E. It's your 3 chord, that's a minor chord too. Start with your F, skip every other note twice. That's your F chord, major. G, which is a major chord too. Just remember 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 whole steps you got to your second note in the chord, which is the third. Then you have an A minor on your sixth. Your sixth is A minor. And then you have a B diminished, which is going to change when we add your fourth extension to it. But it's B diminished right now, which means the third and the fifth are flatted. Okay, so now you know your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 chords in any major key, because I will teach you how to make a major scale anywhere, starting anywhere on the keyboard, and then you're going to have to write this out for yourself, but you will have at your fingertips all the chords in a major key, on every major key. You have to do your homework though. So the reason why we're writing in big Roman numerals for the major chords and small for the minor, okay? So your 1 chord is a major chord. It's going to be a big Roman numeral. There's 3 major chords in any key, and that's on the 1, the 4, and the 5. There's 3 minor chords in any key, and that's on the 2, D minor, 3, and the 6th of the scale, A minor. And then, so that's 6 chords right there, then your B diminished, which is right there. But anyway, you just play them like that. When you're soloing, you can play the things backwards, you know. Okay, now there's extensions that make a whole difference in what the chord is and how it works. Okay, so you're going to add on to that. You're going to play every other note, but you're going to go up to 4 notes now. So you have your C triad, and on top of it is a B note. The interval from a C to a B is a major 7th. So this is a major chord with a major 7th on top, C major 7th. Okay, the next one is D minor, and you skip this note B, and all of a sudden you have a C. That's a D minor 7th. So you have a D minor chord with a minor 7th or a flatted 7th. You've taken the 7th down 1, down a half step, and that's what you've gotten. And this is all natural in the key of C. We're dealing white keys only. Same thing happens on E minor. You have an E minor. The next note is a D. Well, the D is a minor seventh or a flatted seventh or the flatted or a major seventh, half step down. That would be the major seventh. It's half step down because it happens naturally. We're not using any of these black notes. The F chord has a major seventh on top of it. That means you have two major seventh chords in a major key. They're on the 1 and the 4. Now you only have one at the next chord. This is very important. This is a dominant seventh chord. It's a major chord, but with a flatted seventh on top. Very important because that tells you what key you're in. 20 times out of 21 or 19 out of 20, you can figure out what key you're in just by knowing what the dominant seventh chord is. Dominant seventh is a major chord with a flatted seventh. Happens naturally. It's on the 5th of a major scale. Then you get your A minor seventh. It's a flatted seventh on top. When you get to your B diminished, it now turns into a B minor seventh with a flat 5. Okay, so normally if it was a B minor, it would be this. But there's no flats or sharps in the key of C, none of these black notes. So it happens, it's a B minor with a flatted 5th, but you have a flatted 7th, so it turns into a B minor 7th with a flatted 5th. If it was B minor 7th with a regular 5th, it would sound like this. But not in this key. Everything in C is just called diatonic chords. Only the keys, only the chords that are created by the C major scale. So you have these. So if the C major scale created these chords, that means you can play on a solo the C major scale over every one of them. Now, because there's 3 minor chords, that means there's 3 minor scales, major scales that you can use for each minor chord here, and I'll get into that later. But right now, that's the C major scale.